We're on episode 4. I don't know if I need to be showing vlogging or just the process of the tiny home. I tried doing something, I tried editing something that was just focused on the tiny home, but I thought it was a little boring and I kind of lost interest, so you guys would probably lose interest. Not guys, folks. You folks would lose interest as well. I don't know. I'm just gonna play this intro and yeah, I wanted to explain some stuff to you. Let's just do that. So, following along from last week, I'm trying to decide what type of tiny home best suits me. How to explain... I think I'm gonna draw it. Let me get some drawing stuff. How am I gonna hold this over here? This thing. So to help me decide, I made a video that would quickly explain where I'm at. A tiny home on a trailer, a bus, and a container on a truck. The video is unlisted, it was made after episode 3. So right now I'm sending it out to folks who live tiny who can possibly help me. And also family, friends, and some groups to get a wider opinion. I've left a link below, feel free to watch and let me know your thoughts. While I'm collecting all that information, which I will share with you in the future, I'm going to try and create a mock-up or layout of tiny homes because I've established that the 6 meters by 2.5 is what I'm going to go with. And I might as well just play with that space. There's so many cool layout options that I'm just dying to get into, and I think I'm going to show that process. But let's get into it. Right, so these are the 6 layout options I'm going to experiment with. I remember learning about them at university. They are called the 6 spatial topologies and are used as an exercise to learn about room layout and building shape. My building shape is obviously a rectangle, so I'll be manipulating the furniture. It should be useful as a fun way of generating ideas and stepping away from the layout I've had in my head. I will explain how each one works, but let me quickly show you what you're looking at. On the left, we can see what the space looks like if we're standing looking in. Next to that is the plan view. If you're not familiar with what a plan view is, it's simply a view that cuts into the model from above, which is super helpful for seeing layout. Okay, let me quickly explain how these work and then I'll get into sketching their interiors. A cloister is a cavity surrounded by a walkway. These are usually large spaces with a garden. A courtyard is a cavity surrounded by a building. Centric, you can walk into the center from every direction. And linear is space that makes you move back and forth. The last two are a bit more complex. We have spinal, where cavities come off a center walkway. And progression is a series of cavities that get bigger or smaller as you walk through a space. Do consider a like and subscribe. I understand it's easy to forget. I do that sometimes too. But if you do have favorite YouTubers, that little effort to interact below helps in a really big way. Alright, so on to sketch. I took the basic renders I made and I wanted to draw over them to get a feel for what each space would look like. Before I got to this point, however, I had to do 2 things. Firstly, I had to create each of the 6 typologies you just saw. So I made a box 6 by 2.5 meters wide and then kept halving that box. This gave me a mass I could easily move around and geometrically fit into the space, and so I distributed the box around to make up each layout. I then shifted and refined each layout. And these are the renderings I got, PDF below. Secondly, I listed out the common behaviors us humans go through every day. Each behavior is associated with objects, and so I listed those out as well. I then dumped in a bunch of models based on what I wrote. The 6 behaviors were ablutions, sleeping, kitchen, eating and entertaining, and activities. My sketches ended up looking like this. I basically just let my ideas flow and got really playful with the space. I would start with a bed because that is the biggest object in the space. Next, I put a garden in the center because that's a characteristic of the cloister. I threw in some storage, some appliances, a window that allows light and a little bit of view into the back area where the bathroom is, more of a kitchenette area, couch and some floor storage. With the cloister in this tiny home, I imagined accessing everything I need from within the center. I basically did this for all 6 typologies and tried to focus on the unique aspect of each one. I did have a quick play with turning one of these typologies into a finished 3D design, but instead of sharing that now, the next few episodes I'll jump into exploring and finishing each one. I'm gonna let the sketches run so you can see my process. Before and after PDF down below. Before and after. Before and after, really? Before and after. Before and after PDF down below. I'll see you folks next week.